On this episode of the Beyond Jaws podcast, we're going to be talking about guitarfish. We're going to be talking about genetics of guitarfish, cultural significance of guitarfish in Mexico, because we're going to be talking to Bryan Huerta Beltran on this episode, talk about his career and his journey, but we're also going to be talking about sharks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's start the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Beyond Jaws podcast. I'm your co-host, Andrew Lewin, here with my co-host, Dr. David Ebert. Dave, this is a fun episode because, it's been a while since we talked about guitarfish. We did the symposium a long time ago with the wedgefish and the guitarfish, but we also talked about guitarfish over the years, but it's been a little bit since we've talked about guitarfish, and Bryan brought the knowledge and brought the fun. So this is going to be an interesting episode.
No, I'm looking forward to it. He was. We were going to have him on when we did the symposium, which I can't believe it's been 4 years now. But he was just starting, really getting into his master's at the time, and he said, "Well, why don't you wait till he finishes up?" And so here we are, 4 years later, and he's finished up. He's going to be going on to do his PhD, and we'll hear more about that. And it was great. I'm glad we waited because it was he had a lot more information to share with us than he probably would have 4 years ago. And just so people are reminded, he was one of the students that we had helped us behind the scenes a lot on the episode on the symposium, which is in November of 2021. And go back and check out those podcasts if you get a chance to. Yeah. A lot of information on wedgefish, guitarfish, giant guitarfish. It was quite a thing at the time. And a lot of information. You can find out what people are up to and maybe follow along in their careers, see where they're at now.
Yeah. I still remember recording those episodes for the Guitar and Wedgefish Symposium. If people don't remember, we would do about 3 or 4 guests per episode, about 20 to 25 minutes each. They were like information packed episodes, and with phenomenal people and researchers from literally all over the world. But it was a lot of work to do those. Was it 10 episodes? I think it was
something like that. Yeah,
and we had about 40 people on. Like I would say, different people on.
Yeah, we had people from
that was a challenge.
From like 20 countries, and like 40 people on. It was just it was insane, but it was really informative, and a lot of fun. A lot of the people were on there from a lot of the countries. It was their first time being on a podcast, and it was quite an international podcast as well. And I think we had about 300 people listening into the podcast, which was for a new podcast like we were at the time.
Amazing.
Yeah, we
and
literally
it continues to accrue because people go back and listen to it, which is great.
Yeah,
great to see. And then Bryan, having Bryan that was part of that, who helped organize it. Now he's talking about the guitarfish and his journey, to getting there, to going through his masters and all the other projects that he was a part of, and including we even got a little bit of a personal taste of his marathon abilities.
Yes,
where he wants to break 3 hours. And I can just imagine it would take me 3 hours just to go about 5 miles, so just I could understand what he's trying to do. Highly respect it. Don't want to do it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. But
no, it was kind of cool to be able to hear that. And I think it's a lot of fun. So here is the interview with Bryan Huerta Beltran, and talking about his career and his marathon running. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you after. Hey, Bryan, welcome to the Beyond Jaws podcast. Are you ready to talk about sharks?
Yes, I'm ready to talk about shark. I'm looking forward to it.
Love it.
All right. Well, welcome to another Beyond Jaws podcast, where we have another rising star in the shark world with our awesome guest, Bryan Huerta Beltran, who recently finished his MSc at the University of Southern Mississippi under the guidance of Dr. Nicole Phillips, who's also been a guest on the podcast in the past. Bryan was born and raised in Mexico City, but after completing high school, he wanted to pursue his English as a second language and went to Boston, Massachusetts, which was an important transition for him at the beginning of his educational journey in the United States. In 2019, Bryan earned his Bachelor's of Science degree in Conservation and Wildlife at a place I've never heard of before, Delaware Valley University, which is in some place called Doylestown, Pennsylvania. If you're from Doylestown, please don't get upset. I've just never heard of you. I'm from California. But his academic pursuits eventually led him to Mississippi State University, the Marine Fisheries Ecology Program in Biloxi, where he worked with Marcus Drymon, who hasn't been on the podcast yet, and I've got to get a hold of him to find out why he hasn't been on the podcast yet. Damn it. Marcus, I'll be in touch with you. Anyway, over the next couple of years, Bryan participated in a number of longline surveys in the northern Gulf of Mexico, gaining invaluable experience in marine conservation, particularly focusing on elasmobranchs. Pursuing his passion for elasmobranchs further, Bryan began a master's program at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg under the guidance I mentioned of Dr. Nicole Phillips. His master's thesis, which he worked on guitarfishes that are marketed as Pez Diablo, Pez Diablo, which translates to devilfish in English, and he used molecular techniques to determine the species identified. And his project was also partly supported by the Save Our Seas Foundation. Thanks, Save Our Seas. Throughout his academic journeys, Bryan's engaged in a diverse range of research projects. As a master's student, he's authored or co-authored 9 scientific papers. Wow, that's pretty amazing for a master's student. And he continues to contribute to fill in knowledge gaps. Now, as he's finished his master's thesis, he's going to be starting up a PhD program next year in Nicole's lab, and we'll hopefully find out a little bit today more about what he's planning to do. He's also committed to continuing his dream of becoming an elasmobranch researcher. Bryan, by the way, he also served as a student assistant for the Wedgefish and Guitarfish Symposium that we did back in November of 2021 as part of the American Elasmobranch Society Symposium. And Bryan's also a marathon runner, which we'll hopefully hear a little more about today. And with all of that, Bryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dave, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, the question we always like to ask our guests is, how'd you get interested in sharks and rays and marine science?
Well, it's been a while. Ever since I was a kid, I always been like, I love animals. Like, I used to have so many pets as a kid. And then in high school, so I'm from Mexico City, and we have a very big fish market. It's called La Nueva Viga. So it's supposed to be one of the largest fish markets in the world. So for fun, I like to go to those fish markets and see like what species I could find. And so sharks have always been interesting because I remember like I used to have the Sharks of the World from Companio. I think it's 2005, that little field guide. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I used to go there to the fish markets and try to find like different sharks. So as I started like digging more into all like different species I could find, I started realizing that we don't know for that much for many species. Mm-hmm. So that's what it like fired me to like start studying like marine biology. Then so like in science you need to talk English. Mm-hmm. So like all papers, everything has to be in English. So when I finished my high school, I didn't speak English at all, like nothing. So I decided to I had the opportunity to go to an English school in Boston, Massachusetts. There I stayed there, like it was like a year, and then after I finished my English school, I had the opportunity to go to that place that Dave mentioned that he doesn't know what it is. It's called Delaware Valley University, where I major in wildlife conservation and management. So I was able to get my bachelor's degree in science from an American school after like taking English as a second language, and then
how difficult was that to go like 1 year taking English from not speaking English before, moving to the U.S., learning English in 1 year, and then going to a university where I assume it was predominantly English, like for the coursework and everything. How much of a challenge is that for someone to do that? Because Dave, I'll be honest, I can't imagine myself going to Mexico, learning Spanish for a year, and then doing university in Spanish, like doing scientific scientific course load in Spanish for 4 years. There's no way I'd be able to succeed at that. How hard was that, Bryan, for you?
Oh, well, so when I go to Boston, like it was very challenging. So my English, it was very basic at that time. Yeah, so it was just enough to move around, but I was lucky enough that I also stayed with a host family. Host family.
Yeah.
Host family. Like They were from the area, so from Massachusetts. So I was able to. They had a lot of patience with me. So
Right.
eventually I started like feeling more comfortable like being able to speak. But yeah, it was difficult. So sometimes I was like about to give up. I was like, I think I should just go back. I'm more, it's more comfortable. Like
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
you speak in your home country and like don't worry about the language barrier. But I think I came across with the right people throughout all this path, so that helped me.
Yeah.
It has helped me to succeed so far.
How come you picked Boston versus like the Southwest U.S. like California,
That's what I was gonna say.
Arizona,
So-
Texas, New Mexico?
Yeah, so my reasoning behind this, it was like I want to be as far from Mexico, like
Okay.
because if I go to Texas, there's gonna be a lot of like Spanish speaking
Oh, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wanted to practice English as much as possible, as much as
Yeah.
I could.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, there are Spanish speakers everywhere. I didn't
Yeah.
know that much at that time, but I think Boston was like, okay, Boston seems to be the farthest from Mexico.
It's true. Yeah, it's
And then
true.
the same,
It's pretty far.
The same thing from California. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, that's what I
grew
was
up here,
thinking
I
too. If you're in California, there'd be a lot of Spanish speaking people who could probably help you out. But I see what you mean. It's like put me in a place where I can't speak Spanish as much as I would like to force me to learn English and to speak English all the time. Like that is still
Yeah.
tough to do. Like good on you, because you just graduated high school, so you're what, 17, 18 at that time?
Yeah, I think it was like
Give or take.
18 when I moved.
Yeah.
Like my first like in the US.
Unreal. Good job,
that's
man.
amazing.
That's a challenge that I'm not sure a lot of us can do. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, and then doing a degree too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
and
science.
then I got my degree, and it's like mentally tiring too.
Of course.
Like trying to translate like from switch from one language
Yep.
to another. So, but yeah, it's been a whole journey. being
How-
here.
I can imagine.
How did you? I got to ask. Like, so you go to Boston to do this program, which I can understand getting as far away from states that speak where Spanish is a prominent language. So you're there for a year, and at this time you want to. You're pretty much dialed in. You want to do marine science and sharks at this point.
Yeah, well, at this point, I wanted to do something more with conservation and management. Like I didn't care particularly because at that time I was also like really into reptiles too.
Okay.
So I wanted to focus with animals, but still like I was like whether marine biology or something with
Or herpetology or something.
yeah herpetology. But still, I'm like very interested in in management. And like
Yeah.
what I mentioned, like in going to the fish market, you can see like why it's important.
So okay. Being a fish nerd, I have to ask you about the fish market question because I've been to a lot of fish markets around the world. Is it the fish market in Mexico? And I've heard it's a big one, but I haven't been there, but I've been to some like the Tokyo one, which is massive.
Yeah,
Is-
it's Tsukiji, right? Tsukiji.
Yeah, Skiji. Yeah.
Tsukiji,
It's.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. You can spend days walking around it. It's huge. The one in Mexico is the fish that come in there. Is it just from Mexican waters or is it from international as well?
It is mostly probably 90% from Mexico, but from the Mexican exclusive economic zone. So
Yeah.
from the Pacific and also like the Gulf
Okay.
of Mexico and the Caribbean. I think sometimes they get sharks pretty much like body trunks already. Could be also from the U.S. or from Central America too.
Okay. Yeah, because Mexico's they're a shark
Oh,
fishing eating country.
Yeah,
we
we eat a lot of shark, like
Yeah.
as cazón. Yeah, they call it cazón.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're up there. So you were going to the fish markets, which is great to do. I think every kid should do that in my mind, but that's just my opinion. But what you so how did you pick? I have to ask. How did you pick Delaware Valley University in Pennsylvania?
So at that time, I was dating my girlfriend.
Oh, a woman's
She-
involved. Okay.
Yeah, a girlfriend was involved. My ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. Of course. That's.
Yeah, she's from Massachusetts, but she was like, "Oh, look at this school. It's still nearby Massachusetts. It's only like 5 hours away from Pennsylvania."
Yeah.
So that's like the main reason, and the program is like it was very unique. It's called like wildlife management and conservation. So there is not really that many universities they offer such program. So that's what like sold me. Like I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And also, what I like it a lot of this university was like it's a really small university. So pretty much like in my classroom, I was basically the only international student. The rest of them they were like from the U.S. So that was also like a little more challenging too.
Yeah, not having a lot of students. Yeah, I'm sure if I was back east, I'd probably be more familiar with it. I just didn't know anything about it or what its program. Did you have a good time? Was it a good school there? Did you?
Yeah. It was wonderful. I got like great professors and
Oh, cool.
since the classes were really small too, like they were like that many students involved. Probably like about 30 students, 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good, like you get to meet them well, your
Right.
professors.
Okay.
So
Cool,
I think
cool.
that was also like really important for my like growth too.
Right. So you finish up there. Did
Yeah.
you? Where? So how? So what was your? So you finished. You got your college degree, and then you're
Yeah,
kind of going,
so
now what?
So when you like get a degree in the US, you have an opportunity that is called OPT. It's called Optional Practice Training. It's a visa, so you can work for 1 year or 2 years depending on your major, but it has to be related with your field, right? So I applied for that after I got my degree. And I saw that internship opportunity in Mississippi State University with Dr. Marcus Drymon. And one of the requirements it was like being comfortable to dissecting sharks, like being okay with that. I was like, this is easy. Like this is I do that all the time when I in Mexico at the fish market, and like I know that. So I remember. I was like, I'm gonna apply to this internship and see what happens. Really, that was only my option. Like I put a lot in that application, a lot of effort, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it and hopefully and see what happens. And I also remember email Marcus and telling, hey, like I've been at the fish market, so like I have all like this experience and so on. So eventually, I got the internship, and that was wonderful because then I was an intern with Marcos, who does a lot of shark research in the northern Gulf of Mexico, which I was able to learn a lot too there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So you're working along there. Were you at that point? Did you have any idea what you were going to do after that, or do you just learn skills?
Yeah, no, I mean, I know I wanted to get my master's degree, and I know I wanted to focus on sharks. Like,
Okay.
that was like my goal. Like, I knew I wanted to do that.
What was the point you said, like, I'm going to do sharks? Was it slow, or is it one big thing? He's like,
Was that?
say? Was it something you slowly came to, or was it just you decided one day I'm going to do sharks?
No, it was like after like going to the fish markets, I started like having a passion with sharks.
Okay.
Pretty much like realizing that I think I was getting good at identifying, recognizing many species.
Yeah. Okay.
Which and then I started realizing that the fish market it was a wonderful resource to see like so many species.
Yeah.
For example, so many species that they are prohibited in the U.S. they are not in Mexico. So I have like access to so many
a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So you went to work with Marcus for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And learned a lot of skills there.
Yeah. So we used to do like bottom long lines, strolling. Got the opportunity to tag sharks and workup sharks. Like they do like measurements, vertebra. Like they do a lot of like age and growth studies. So I got I got some experience there. And then I knew I wanted to do sharks, and I always like, I've been like more focused, kind of like in taxonomy too, kind of. And I remember talking with Marcus, and I think we both agree that I think it would be really useful to also incorporate genetics in my knowledge and in my set skills, because it could be very useful for taxonomy too. And Marcus, I think like in the shark world is crazy. Like everyone is super interconnected. Everyone knows everyone. So Marcus knows Nicole, and then he put a word on Nicole and me, and then Nicole took me as her master student, and then I started learning genetics.
Okay. And so so you started in your project there. So how did you come up with this project? You talk about the project you developed?
Yeah, with the Pez Diablo. So I mean, like, like Guitarfish have been a conservation concern. Well, like it's getting like more popular as you know. I think that big paper from I think it's Alec, the 2016 is like, are guitarfishes the next sawfishes? You know what paper? What publication I'm talking about?
Yeah. Was it? I thought it came out maybe.
I think it's 2016 or 2014. I don't know. It's something like that. It's like somewhere over there. But
basically.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
I remember going. So like when I was a child, going to Veracruz. That's a Mexican state in the Gulf of Mexico, and they used to sell these modified guitarfishes. So in Mexico, they caught guitarfishes to look like devils, like Pez Diablo, or like alien likes. So I remember seeing them at a souvenir stand, and I remember I told Marcus, like, well, in Mexico we have like this type of trade that I think no one has ever really documented. So I started thinking more, like trying to find, like doing more research, and like there is only like really short accounts that people caught in just modifying the guitarfishes to look like Pez Diablo. So in Mexico we have many. I think supposedly we have 8 species of guitarfishes from the genus Udubatus. I mean, the distribution is still the taxonomy, as I mentioned. It's a lot needs to be done in that group. But identifying guitarfishes that they are mutilated is almost like really hard, because like they remove like morphologically characteristics. So genetics, that was like the perfect methodology to identify to the species level. So I end up collecting several Pez Diablo, like modified guitarfishes, and use genetics to identify which species are being traded.
Yeah. So what's the? You might have said this already. I'm just trying to understand. Like, is it like a cultural thing? These Pez Diablo?
So I mean, this tradition. So the very first record from modified guitarfish can be traced from the 1930s. But people do it for mostly 2 reasons. One, like as a joke, like a hoax. Like, oh look, this, because they look like aliens, or they look like devils. Yeah. Because the nares and the mouth. Like I'll send you some pictures, but they look. And so in Mexico also another reason is they use it for alternative medicine. They sell it like to cure cancer, arthritis, like other like disease. I mean, it's like I don't think it works, right? But
I mean, just so people understand. In fact, once we post this episode here, we'll post some pictures of this, if it's okay.
Yeah. I'll send you some pictures.
I've seen this, but it's basically they dry the guitarfish, correct?
Yeah. So first they remove like the rostral cartilage, So they remove the Russell cartilage and some. They cut several parts of the body, and they dry them.
Okay.
So once they dry, they look like devils or like a little alien.
Is it mostly just the head or the whole body?
They modify the whole body.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I've mostly seen the heads, but I didn't know. So it's the whole body they dry. So
Yeah.
Can I just stop for a second here? Is it so they don't eat the meat at all then?
For when they sell it for alternative medicine, they grind the dry guitarfish.
Oh.
They grind it and they put it on. They put the ground meat on peels.
On
And
pills.
they
Oh,
eat
really?
it. Yeah. It was very interesting. And as I mentioned before, like I think no one has really looked
Yeah.
into that.
I've never heard that with those things. I've seen them, and I knew they were a little bit had more of like you said, like a joke kind of
Like
thing.
a joke, yeah. So
Yeah.
and you can find them sometimes here like on eBay or Etsy. They call them also Jenny Hannibers. They go by the name Jenny
Jenny
Hannibers.
Hannibers, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that term.
And
too.
they can sell for some, like here in the United States, can sell for a couple like $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how's that? So, but if they're going to use them for medicinal purposes, like cancer and stuff, then they grind it up and they like cook it like in a soup or something or a broth.
Yeah. So sometimes they boil it, like the meat, or as I mentioned, they grind it up and they put them in on peels.
Okay. Okay. And then okay. So that's on the is there any particular cancer or just cancer in general?
That's what just said like cancer. Like if you go to
Okay.
like so they sell them like in these traditional medicine markets where like they sell a lot of like plants, herbs, like medicinal, like alternative stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have these dry guitar fishes, and
Okay.
they said, "Oh, this is good for cancer. This is."
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Is it much outside Mexico? Is it very popular in Latin America or just mainly Mexico?
I think it's mainly Mexico.
Okay.
Well, like for cancer or like alternative medicine purposes.
Okay.
But for like as a hoax, I've seen them in Europe or like in the US. I think even sometimes in Canada.
But they're
like,
not
you'd
real.
see it, like, yeah, but that's more like for people who likes like all these oddities,
Right.
like,
Right.
like weird stuff, like
Yeah.
like the jackalope or like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What now? Because isn't guitarfish generally considered a preferred meat in Mexico?
Yeah, so the main where I've seen at the fish market too, the main cows, they're mainly target for their meat.
Yeah, but some of them get set aside for these
For the Pez Diablo trade.
Pez Diablo trade. Okay.
Yeah.
And I assume if it gets set aside for that, it means it's make a little more money than selling it for the meat.
Oh yeah, that's what I think I mentioned, and I think it
Yeah.
was in a Safe Our Seas blog that.
Okay.
So like a guitarfish, just fresh for their meat at the fish market in Mexico can go for maybe like $2.
Oh, okay.
While Pez Diablo in Mexico, they can sell for maybe like $20,
Oh,
20
wow. Oh, wow.
USD dollars. So there is a huge revenue.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's it. Now, how is it because there's a lot of concern with guitar fishes and everything. How to say if they ship them to the U.S. or they export them at all? How is that with CITES and all this stuff now with guitar?
Yeah,
fishes?
so I think I published my first paper about this type of trade because like we don't really know like the extent of international trade, but like there is accounts of people also selling modified guitar fishes in London, but I think that's from the 70s or 80s, something like that.
Okay.
But I mean, like the guitar, they just got recently. I think it was 2023 when they got all the family on their CITES.
Yep.
So it was important to know this trade also exists because it's been like under the radar for so long. As I mentioned, like the first record of a modified Guitarfish is from the 1930s.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, so it goes back. So it goes back quite a ways and stuff. So are you so? When you go to the markets, say in Mexico or even places in the U.S. where they sell these things, do you try to identify them to the species at all?
Yeah, I try to do like an educated guess, depending of like certain morphological characteristics available. But so for my project, I was able to, like as I mentioned, collect many tissue samples, and we brought them to the U.S. And that was before all the CITES regulations. So I was very lucky to get my samples here, because now it's like super hard with all the new import. And I think I was telling you, Andrew, with all this paperwork. But so and then I create my own genetic reference library of all guitarfishes of the genus Pseudobatus.
Oh wow.
Because as I mentioned, it's like a whole taxonomically, it's been like a lot of misidentifications. And So
how do you do that? How do you make a genetic library of an entire genus?
Well, so I was very interested in target. It's a mitochondrial gene. It's called the ND2.
Okay.
So I target this gene. It's from the mom, and usually it's really good for taxonomic purposes, like that gene. So I was able to from people from Ecuador. You know Adriana Ceballos?
Yeah.
I think you work with Adriana Ceballos from.
Oh yeah.
So she helped me, and I think some people from Peru too.
Yeah.
So it was like from many people from different people from Latin America and Mexico. We collect all the known guitarfish samples from all known guitarfishes from the genus Pseudobatus, and then with primers I amplify the ND2. So it's kind of like, and then you get kind of like you get a sequence. So it's kind of like a barcode.
Yeah.
So and you can tell it's species A, species B, species C, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So once I have that genetic reference library, I extract also the DNA from my Pez Diablo samples. So I was able to match which species they belong to.
Did you have to have a number of different individuals for each species to ensure that was the DNA code that was like specific to that species?
Yeah. So I collect like at least I think it was like a minimum of 4 individuals per species.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And also like I asked them to take pictures too.
Oh, of course.
So I have also like photographic vouchers because I wanted to make sure that was the right identification too.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. You got into doing that, especially at a master's level. You had enough foresight to think about doing basically setting up a genetic database for these things.
Yeah, because like literally we don't, like for many species we don't really have any genetic data for various species of the genus Pseudobatus.
Right. Yeah.
And now that they are protected under CITES, it's like essential to have these databases.
Yeah. That's incredible. It's amazing you got that set up. So you're getting this thing set up now. Do you monitor what goes on in some of the other countries, like in Central and South America, much as far as if they're doing any similar stuff?
No. So right now, that was just for my thesis. I would like to try to identify which species of guitarfishes are sold in the U.S. Because so what I saw for my master's, the ones that are sold as Pez Diablo in Mexico are all just from the genus Pseudobatus, which makes sense, right? Because they're from Mexico.
But now, can I stop you a second? Did you ever get any of the banjo guitarfish, the Zaptrix?
Zapteryx? No, I didn't get any Zapteryx.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But also, those are really far apart. Like genetically, they're like.
Oh yeah, I know. But I guess the only reason I was asking is because they would they be something they would use for the Pez Diablo?
Yeah, I haven't encountered one Sapteris turned into
Really?
Pez Diablo. Yeah.
I would.
I have that question too. If like someone has made a Pez Diablo based on a Sapterix, and so far I
Yeah.
haven't seen one.
Wow.
So all my samples turn out to be Pseudobatus.
All pseudobatus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting in itself. I mean, if you got just so people understand your home like this other genus Aptrix, I mean they're different than the guitarfish, but they're similar. They're different, but they have a similar sort of
Like morphotype,
shape.
I guess.
Morphotype. Yeah. They call them banjo guitarfish.
Yeah.
The common name for them, and that's why I was kind of curious. And I know they catch a lot of those, at least in the Gulf of California and on the Pacific.
Oh
Coast.
yeah.
I mean,
I've seen them in the fish market too.
Yeah,
And,
I know they used to use them in fish tacos in La Paz, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate to say, but they were pretty good eating. But if you like,
I try Guitarfish and the meat is okay.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm not embarrassed to say I'm older than you. I'm past whatever. It's like they're pretty good eating. So
Yeah.
so sorry, but yeah, I'll say it. You don't have to. But yeah. So are there any? So you got all this. You've been working. You're getting to develop this database of all the guitar, and it's all pseudo betas. There's no other, and other than the Zaptrix, there's no other guitar
No,
fish.
so the ones I got from Mexico, they're all Pseudobatus. I'm interested, so in the US. Remember, I was telling you that they can be also found, like here, like in eBay or Etsy, like in different markets. So here is different. I think there are also Rhinobatus. I think like some are coming from the Philippines.
Okay.
So that's also very something I would like to do.
Yeah. Do you think?
future.
You think? Yeah. Why do you think the Philippines versus say West Africa?
Because the Philippines and Indonesia, I think way back before all the CITES stuff, and they used to be a big exporter country to the US for the curio trade. Like a lot, like if you go to a souvenir store, like a beach town,
Yeah.
like you can see shark jaws. Sometimes they used to sell them like souvenirs. You can see many species from like the Indo-Pacific and all like this area.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's actually pretty interesting. That because I would have thought West Africa would have been a possible place where you might get stuff in. I didn't even think about the Philippines or Indonesia going into.
They used to
Mexico.
be like back there in the end back then they used to be a big importer for the shark curio trade.
Yeah, the Philippines is definitely for the shark curio trade. That definitely, I definitely would agree with. I agree with. I've seen that here in California, so I know I can speak to that firsthand.
Yeah.
The Pez Diablo. I grew up in a fairly Hispanic community here in Central California, and so I have actually seen some here in this area.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, did you ever see them like in California? Because I think there's a little report that some people mention, like in California, sometimes they'll sell them as souvenirs.
Yeah, well, I say it's like I grew up in the Salinas Valley, which has a lot of migrant laborers and stuff here. It's a farming community. I'd seen them, but I wouldn't say I've seen them in recent years. I'd seen them more when I was growing up, going to school, like high school and stuff. I'd see them, and I thought those were kind of weird or curious what they were.
Yeah.
And I remember them talking about being, and they, so I kind of knew what they were, but I can't say I've seen them in recent years. But when I was growing up, I'd be over at a friend's house or something, and I'd see them, and so I kind of knew a little bit more of the sort of the Halloween type or Day of the Dead type of practical joke, which we use them for. So, but yeah, so that was obviously back 70s, early 80s time frame, not way before your time on this. But,
Oh wow.
But yeah, no, I was aware of them, but I didn't know much about them other than I knew people that were either from Mexico or they had Mexican heritage. Some of them were second or third generation Mexican American, but I'd seen those before, so that was kind of an interesting. But I learned more today from you than I actually knew about them, because I never thought to look into them. It's almost, in a way, it sounds like is almost like a type of similar to like a shark fin trade, where they got these things being traded around, but nobody really pays any attention to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you got all this stuff done now. You're busy publishing your thesis, and congratulations, by the way, you got 9 papers
thank
already.
you.
That's
like
good.
9 papers out of a master's thesis?
No, so I got 9 papers throughout my master's, because I got the opportunity to work in other like side projects.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it was like so far 9 papers, and we have 2 more or 3 in review, and then
Wow.
How many of those? How many of those are you the first author on?
I think 3 or 4.
Okay,
Good for
that's
you.
Good. That's good. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
9 papers. You got a couple more coming. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's hard work.
That's really good. That's
Thank you so
really good.
much.
So having all this stuff. So with all your stuff now, with all this information you gathered, what are you looking to do with this now? You're going to write you're going to make any, your stuff can be able to use for any conservation purposes for either the Mexican government or
yeah, so I
US,
mean, so first, like having all this genetic database, like once it gets published, my thesis is gonna be available like in in public databases. So people will be able to use this data to track like Guitarfish products now that they are regulated internationally. Because I think one problem is like these Guitarfishes are also, so in Mexico they are sold like in beach towns, like in Baja, like Guerrero, all these areas, and a bunch of tourists sometimes they buy them like a souvenir, and they can now they can bring them overseas, and that will be now an international violation, right? Like through cities.
Yeah, I don't think the customs guys would have any idea what they were.
Yeah.
Bringing them back, they'd have no idea, and I'm sure most of the people would have no idea that they were illegal to transport either.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly.
so that would be an interesting thing, how they worked all that stuff out, as far as where they would go and what they would do with it and stuff. So now you got your master's wrapped up and everything. I know you told us here before we came on the air that you've been running marathons, and you were running a marathon recently. Why don't you tell us about how'd you get in? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just ran the Chicago Marathon.
Oh,
wow, that's awesome.
It was fantastic. I wanted to break 3 hours. I ended up running 3 hours 27 seconds.
Oh.
So 27 seconds. I've been hunted, but it was so close.
Yeah,
Wait, like to win, but you lost by 27 seconds? Is that what it was?
So I wanted to run a sub 3 hour marathon. So that requires you like a pace of like, I think it's like a 6 minutes 50 seconds per mile, like
per
average.
mile.
Yeah, it's for 26 miles. So a marathon is 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
So I was very close to break the 3 hours. So only by 27 seconds. But yeah, I've been running a lot. I think running has been, like as a master student, and like sometimes like to give you also like ideas to like refreshing, because sometimes, research sometimes can be really hard. Like genetics can be really challenging sometimes. And like having this like hobby as a running it's also been great for like.
Did you take up the running kind of later, or was it something you'd done earlier?
Yeah, I started running like 2 years or 3 years ago.
Okay, so pretty new to it.
I started first like little by little until like now this is my second marathon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So did you ever run before that, or something you just took up as a grad student?
During high school, I used to run a little bit, but it was like shorter distances, like 5Ks or 10Ks.
Okay. You probably saved.
But now I'm
you probably saved your knees a lot of damage earlier in your life. Because like guys like Andrew and I probably used to run a lot earlier in our life, then we like blew out our knees, and so like we don't do that anymore.
Do you actually used to run or?
Oh yeah. I used to run like 10 miles a day. I wrestled in college, and we'd have 5:30 every morning. We're out doing our 10-mile run.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I did not do 10 miles a day. I would run when I was in high school. I played offensive line for football, so we were not known as runners, but I did run, but it was maybe like, I was doing it in kilometers, so maybe like 4 or 5 kilometers a day.
Okay.
Like a slow pace, but I still ran. Mm-hmm. Still consider running, just not 10 miles a day. That's insane, David. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I enjoyed running for years and years, and then like I said, my knees, by the time I got into my 30s, my knees were just kind of starting to give out on me, so I had to change over to swimming. So
did you ever did a marathon? Did you finish a marathon?
No, I never ran a marathon. I just used to like to run. But with wrestling, because it's such a high impact endurance sport, you got to run to build up your endurance is what you do. So you start off your day running to get your day going, and then you got all the other weightlifting and all the other training to do. So but yeah, I enjoy it. Like I said, especially in grad school, like you said, like it's just a good way to kind of like clear your mind. Yeah. And just not think of anything, and just kind of like just be out there running. Especially if you have a nice trail to run on.
Oh yeah, like here, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and it's called the Long Lift Race, and cool. It's a trail that is 44 miles, so you can run as much as you want.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How do you find though trail running compared to running like a marathon, which is probably just on like a paved road, right? That must be quite different.
Yeah, I mean it's harder for your knees too. But like for example in Chicago Marathon, I mean it was crazy. There's like I think over 53,000 runners.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Like run the Chicago Marathon, and I mean it's like there's so many people that you just like just go with them.
Yeah.
It's like
how long do you have to wait before you could actually get to the starting line to run?
So I was actually one of in the second corral. I was corral C. So it was like kind of like really, not really in front, but like also not too far behind.
In the back. Okay. I've heard people tell me like they run like this. We have a Big Sur marathon out here, which is really popular. It runs along the coast, Big Sur up to Monterey, and people have told me like sometimes they got to wait like a half hour, 45 minutes just to get to the starting.
Yeah, until they start. And I think it's the same for Chicago. I was just like lucky that I was able to qualify for a faster corral because of my previous marathon time.
Okay.
So they put you so usually faster runners go in front, and then like slower runners kind of like go in the backpack.
Okay.
Are you planning on doing? I know Chicago is a big one, but are you planning on doing others like New York and Boston?
Yeah.
Marathons?
So I mean it's. Eventually, like for my running career, like the dream will be to qualify for Boston. And to qualify, like in my age group, I need to run a 250.
250.
Okay.
250 marathon. Yeah, it's.
So is that any marathon that you run, or there's specific ones?
So far I just done the Gulf Coast Marathon, and I just did Chicago. I'm looking into do the one. There's one in. It's called the Louisiana Marathon. That's in January.
Okay.
But so I still want to break the 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, you're close.
Yeah, close. Just like more training.
Yeah.
So now that you got you're finished up your master's and you're looking forward to starting your PhD next year. So like, where do you kind of see your career going from here?
Well, I think I feel like I want to be with the LASMO ranks in like for the long run, in the long.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I'll be happy wherever I can go as long as I can keep working with the LASMOs.
Yeah. Nice.
I think I mentioned it before, but for my PhD, I'm still hoping to work with guitarfishes.
Oh, very nice.
Great group to work on. Do you see yourself? Do you think you'll stay here in the U.S. or you may go back to Mexico? Or
it will depends on the opportunities and like I think it's really difficult to say think far think far in advance. But I think if I get the opportunity to be here, I would love to still be here.
Yeah.
But
of course.
Whatever the future.
Yeah. Well, we have you on tape now, so we'll be able to check back in with you in 20 years.
You can ask if I was able to break the 3 hours.
Yes.
Well, we'll have you back. You break the 3 hours. You send us a text message. We'll have you back on to talk about. We'll have you on for a special bonus episode just to talk about your breaking the 3 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Great. So anyway, Bryan's been a really terrific guest having you on here today, and congratulations on finishing your master's. And we'll definitely look forward to having you on again, whether you break the 3 hours or not. We'll definitely have you back on in the future. And thanks a lot very much for coming on today and joining the show.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you, Bryan, for joining us on today's episode of the Beyond Jaws podcast. It was great to have you on. Dave, to do a master's like that, where you're learning about a species where not a lot of people know about. We don't know a lot about that species, let alone not a lot of people talk about it. It must be a kind of a really interesting way to break into a field, talking about and doing research about a shark that we just don't know that much about.
Yeah. I mean, he's working on something there's almost nothing known about them. They're common, so it's not like they're rare, but there's nobody's really studied them before, and they have a cultural importance in his native country of Mexico, and so and he got onto something that most people are not even thinking about with looking at those the dried guitarfish down there, and then we always talk about this with people when I talk to young people. It's like, find something that somebody else isn't doing, and he did. He found something that somebody was not doing. I mean, the best example I always use is everybody can go do white sharks, or lots of people do white sharks, but the skills he learned, he can go do white sharks now or whatever. But he's found something that he basically has made himself put himself in the position he's an expert in that, and that's what's going to set your career apart early on in your career, is to do something nobody else is doing, and he's a perfect poster child for that type of research. And it was really fascinating having him on. Well, definitely, he's one of those young guys. It'd be nice to track his career as he goes along to the next phase, like with his PhD, as he advances there and see what he does. And I think he's going to be staying there working with Nicole Phillips, who was on the podcast during the episodes we had then back then during the symposium. And we'll definitely have to have her back on here as well. So we'll definitely look forward to that. But no, it was really good hearing Bryan's story, and as I say, he's starting his PhD next year, and so it'll be great to kind of track his career as he goes along.
Absolutely, and we'll link to any social media that he has. Dave, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they do so?
Lost Shark Guy on Instagram. That's probably the best way. Or check out my YouTube channel at Lost Shark Guy, and check out the series Searching for Lost Sharks, Extinct or Alive. It really helps if I can get views on there and people want to click on there and subscribe. Please do so. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. And if you want to get a hold of us, Beyond Jaws Pod on Instagram and on YouTube, where you're probably watching this or listening to this on your favorite podcast app. But if you want to go to YouTube, see our wonderful looking faces, you can do so. Just go to Beyond Jaws Pod. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank Bryan. I want to thank, of course, Dave, my co-host, for each and every time coming in and bringing in the heat. It's always fun to do podcasts with you, and we're going to continue to do them forever. It's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of the Beyond Jaws podcast from Dave and I. We really appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time, and happy conservation.